So hello and welcome to the next updates video. It's actually been, I think, a little over 2 months since I did the last video, but that just means I probably have more things to talk about right now. Alright, so what's next for Modern Cardboard? Well, I'm still working on videos, and I should have a new one coming out in about the next week or so. And this video is going to be on a game that I got a recommendation for back in May of 2020 from the updates video then when I asked for requests. Surprisingly, a lot of the requests that I got back in May of 2020 were for games that weren't really like cult of the new games. There are a lot of games that are maybe 2 years old, 1 year old, 4 years old, or older. And it's surprising, and I think it's good because it says maybe you like the style I apply to games. There's a lot of video content out there for the games that were recommended, but I will do my best to apply the Modern Cardboard style to it, make games easy to learn, and make those like references that you can always fall back on whenever you're digging that game back out or having to relearn it for a game night or something like that. So interesting, the video I have coming out is on a game that's 2 years old. And then I got a box in the mail for the next game after that. And if it's any clue, that box was 9.6 kilograms for one game. So that might give you an idea of what's coming up. Okay, so some new things with the channel. I ended up making a couple purchases within the last month. One of them was I ended up getting a lavalier mic rather than using the shotgun mic that I've been using. The shotgun mic works really well if you're staying in the same spot. But what I've realized is when I'm editing some of my videos and things like that for games, when I start to move around the table a little bit, looking down at things, moving my head around, my sound changes if my voice isn't projecting in the same spot. I know you can get some of that variation with a lavalier, but I'm hoping that lets me have more flexibility and keeps the sound intact as I move around as well. It keeps the sound anyway very audible and easy to understand. So another thing I did in the last month is I went back into all my old videos and I created timestamps or chapter markers for all the major sections of the video. So now you can use the videos a lot more like you would a rule book. You can just go there and in the description, click on the timestamp and it'll jump to that section of the video. The other thing I noticed, which is really cool, is in the newer videos, when you do that, it actually creates chapter markers in the timeline underneath. And so you can just kind of hover over the timeline and find your section or something that you're stuck on in a game while you're playing, go back to that, and hopefully it helps maybe review it rather than having to scrub through the whole video and find the section that you're looking for. What I did notice, though, it's weird, is that older videos, when you add the timestamps, it doesn't create the chapter markers in the timeline. So I don't know if that's just something that only works on new videos or not. I'm not really sure, and I haven't looked into it too much, but the timestamps are there in the descriptions if you want to use those. Another thing that I did in the last 2 months is I created a Patreon page, and I know you're probably like, oh no, he's going to ask us to support. Well, this is for people who want to support. You don't have to. Actually, just by viewing videos and subscribing and following on Facebook or Twitter or something like that, that helps a lot. It actually really does. But if you want to go to that next step and help support the channel, I do have a Patreon page. I put the link down in the description to that, and I'll say that contributions from Patreon are going to go really help to buy new gear, to buy games that I'm going to do in the future, and then it justifies to my wife that this is worthwhile. That's always important, so she doesn't think I'm just spinning my wheels or wasting time there. So if you really like what you see, you can support me over on Patreon. Anything's great over there. It doesn't matter what level you're at or anything, and I haven't really done too much on the levels right now. I think it's $1 a month, $3 a month, and maybe a $5 a month over there. Another thing I did is I've been posting a lot more to my Facebook account. It's kind of sat dormant for a while, and I used to use Twitter a little bit more, but I do use Facebook a lot more right now. So that's another place if you're interested in that, seeing what's going on a daily basis or every other day. Try to post a few times a week. You can go over there and like me on Facebook, and you'll be able to follow my feed there. So that's it for updates this month, and I really appreciate you subscribing on YouTube, liking on Facebook, and all the support that you got, all the comments that I've been getting been fantastic. Point out clarifications if there's something you want me to change. That's great. That always helps, and I'll make sure everyone's aware of that. Or if there's something you'd like to see in the future, let me know that as well. Again, got the support page over on Patreon if you want to check that out. And I guess we'll see you next time. That's all I got. Take care.